Hey, what's up, fam? It's Michael Norman back with you for another edition of Maximum Life, Life More Abundantly. Again, whenever you hear me teaching, I'm generally going to be teaching from principles I've learned through the scriptures. It's not so that you could become more religious, but the principles that are encapsulated in the scriptures are timeless. Timeless, like principles such as you reap just what you sow. If you sow it, you'll reap it. What now we call it in non-biblical terms, we call it karma. What goes around comes around. It's a principle, it's a law. And one of the things I discovered when studying the scriptures about God is that whenever he makes an edict concerning anything, whenever he declares something, it becomes a law and it remains in force until he changes the law. It's not about our circumstances, it's not about our situations, it's not about our problems or even complaining that changes the law. It is God, and spoiler alert. God does not change. So consequently, the words that he speaks, they are eternal, such as the law of gravity. It works 100% of the time. It will never, ever fail. If you go to the top of a building, two people, one a criminal and one perhaps one of the most pious persons you've ever met, one who's a saint, the other a sinner. But if they both jump off of the Empire State Building at the same time, they're going to experience the same fate. Now, the faithful one, the one who's a saint, and the sinner, they're subject to the same fate because the law of gravity is impersonal. Just like fire, fire is impersonal. You can use it for benefit or detriment. It doesn't matter who's using it. Just like a seed in the ground for a farmer. If a farmer plants a seed in the ground, no matter how good or bad he's been all week long, if he plants that seed into the ground, giving all the right circumstances and conditions, he's going to get a harvest. Doesn't matter how good or how bad he may have been all week long or all year long for that matter, because the law of agriculture is impersonal. It doesn't really care. Okay. It's just the law that God has supernaturally set in motion, that if we respect it and harness the original intent for it, it will work for our good. Now, the same is true where it concerns money. Money is not an issue of what's in your pocket or what's in your bank account. It has more to do with what's in your mind. What is in your mind? Because the everything that is natural starts in the spiritual. Everything that is physical, everything that you see in the physical, this tablet, this computer, laptop, the camera, everything around me that's physical started in the spiritual. Why do I say that? It's because it started in the mind, the realm of the thought, the thought realm, the mind, the cerebral, the subconscious, however you want to really categorize it. It actually starts in the immaterial world first before it becomes material. So it is as simple as someone must have the invention in their mind so that the rest of us can ultimately and eventually benefit from what started in the mind of the inventor. When we talk about airplanes, when we talk about cars, when we talk about all the amenities that we enjoy today, those things started from the realm of the mind first. An inventor, the Henry Ford, had to think about how can we get from point A to point B in less time. An automobile. That's how we can do it. The Wright brothers said, well, I'll see your car and raise you an airplane, because now what you can use the car to get from A to B or A to Z in an extended period of time. But guess what? The Wright brothers says, I'll see your car and raise you an airplane. Now what takes you hours to get from A to Z can only take mere minutes by virtue of the airplane. But all of these things and more, the light bulb, the computer, the cell phone, all of these things, everything in the physical started in the immaterial. Everything in the material world, everything you see around you gets its genesis in the immaterial. So laws are of such that they don't really care about your personality. They don't care how many heaven points you may have accumulated over your lifetime. It doesn't matter because the principles will work for those who work the principle. That's just as simple as it gets. If you work the principles, then the principles will work for you. So, being a serial entrepreneur, I am always looking for a method whereby I can increase my monetary flow, my revenue flow. I'm always looking for a means to better increase revenue and do it more efficiently. I'm talking about where I can be laying in my bed in the middle of the night and my cell phone goes off because somebody bought a material, something that I made, something that I offered to the marketplace that resonated with them. So while I'm asleep, I'm making money off of things that I made perhaps a year ago, 2 years ago, or a month ago. And that's ultimately where you want to go. We call it residual income, where you invent or develop something that has the potential to pay you progressively, that can pay you passively while you're watching TV, enjoying your family, or on a vacation. You're making revenue. That's the idea, and ultimately, that's where you want to go. Now, here's the thing. Again, here we go with the Bible. The Bible says that many are called, but few are chosen. Now, that sounds discriminatory, right? As though God only uses certain people. Everyone else, talk to the hand, right? But that's not what it's saying. It's literally saying that while everyone has the opportunity to succeed, only a small few and small percentage of them will ever do it. Why? Because those that win, basically, given all things being equal, those that win in life are simply doing what others won't do. It's really just as simple as that. To win in this life, you must be willing to do what most people will not do. They're not willing to do it. And trust me, when it comes to money, most people are not willing to do what it takes to gain more revenue, to gain more income, even if they are an entrepreneur. Most people are satisfied with whatever their business, the grocery store, the mom and pop, or an item that they invented, whatever it's bringing in, that's fine. They don't scale up. They don't look to do it more efficiently. So it's universal. We all have the opportunity to succeed, but it becomes a question of how badly do you want it. It's just as simple as that. Because we can all have a desire, but it becomes a question of how badly do you want it. And I'm looking at my laptop here. So again, I appreciate everyone that's tuning in. I see you, Team Scarborough. Bless you guys. Thank you for tuning in. So again, it becomes a question of how badly do you want it. Now, in the header, you see it's just talking about creating wealth or manifesting money. How to manifest more money. Now, I'm going to have to tell you from the onset, this is not a question of magic. This is not a magic program. I'm not David Blaine or the mind guy, or what's his name, the mind freak guy. We're not talking about how you can create money out of thin air. There is no such thing as a money tree, because if it were, it would have been discovered by now by all of us, right? But there are principles that we must observe and that we must adhere to if we want to get the sort of increase in our lives. Now, I'll start off by saying this. As I said earlier, nothing in this world exists except it exists first in the unseen realm. So it's an issue of developing our mindsets on respecting the invisible realm that it exists. We talk about quantum physics and wormholes and dimensions, fourth dimensions, third dimensions, and things of that nature, because we're fastly realizing that there's more to life than meets the eye. There's more to existence than actually meets the eye. And I shared on an earlier video. If you haven't check out some of my earlier videos. I'm sharing with you on how that we as human beings can only see at a 0.035% of the electromagnetic spectrum. We're not seeing everything that's there. And so consequently, we become victimized by that less than 1% vision that we have. And so we let that dictate to us whether or not we can be successful or have happiness in our own life, because we're only judging it based on what we can see with our natural eyes, not realizing that there's so much more to life than meets the eye. And the reason we know that's true, because you don't even have to be a scientist, because we understand that animals, your dog, if you have a dog, you wonder why your dog wakes up in the middle of the night and starts barking. Why? I mean, you're there sleeping, having a wonderful dream, and you're just enjoying that sleep, and all of a sudden your dog just he starts and wakes you out of that beautiful sleep, and you're wondering, what are you making this fuss about? He's making a fuss because he hears something that you cannot hear, because his level of hearing is more acute than the average human being. They can hear frequencies that we cannot perceive. So same thing applies with your seeing. You can only see at a very, very marginal percentage, 0.0035% of what actually exists. So that being said, I want to encourage you to understand that this is really what levels the playing field, where we are all chosen and we all have the capacity to believe and walk by faith to the extent that we can believe for something that we don't currently possess, but we can in our mind's eye, we can visualize in our mind's eye, we can by the power of our divine imagination, we can literally possess those things that we desire first in the most significant place. That's the realm of the unseen, the realm of the spiritual first before it becomes material. So that being said, I want to share some very down to earth. Now that we've established that the unseen realm is more real than the actual seen realm, the things that you cannot see are actually more real than the things you actually do see. Because again, you are only viewing this life at a 0.0035% of what actually exists within the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay? Now, if you can settle that in your heart and in your mind to realize, oh, now I understand why I keep fumbling and I keep making mistakes, because I'm believing only what I see. You know, I'm from Missouri, the show me state, and I'll believe it when I see it. Well, that's only partially true, because it doesn't matter whether or not you can see it with your natural eyes if you cannot see it with your spiritual eyes. If you can't see it with your spiritual eyes, it will never materialize into a place where you can see it with your natural eyes. So it's partially right that you can believe it when you see it, though, first in the unseen, the fourth dimension, in the darkness of the universe, or in the invisibility of the universe. If you can see it outside of yourself first, then you have a strong chance of seeing it in the natural second. So yeah, I guess you could be technically from Missouri, but you got to see it first in the realm of the unseen in order for you to be able to see it in the realm of the seen. Okay? Don't get it backwards. Don't wait till you see the laptop. Don't wait till you see the desk. Don't wait till you see the invention before you believe. You know, if the Wright brothers were waiting to see it in the natural, they never would have invented the airplane. Henry Ford, if he was waiting for someone else to bring it into the material world before he decided, it would be too late. We wouldn't be driving Fords and expeditions and things of that nature. So you see how that works. Now, I'm helping thousands and thousands of people all around the world to gain this insight. If you want more information on how you can develop your skills to be able to harness what's in the unseen and bring it into the seen realm, you need to contact me. You can go to michaelnormanministries.com and sign up for my one-on-one coaching, where I will teach you how to manifest, how to practice this skill, because again, it takes practice. Anything you're going to be perfected in, you have to practice it. And I'm going to give you the how-tos, the what-to-dos, the tips, the tools, and the techniques you need to bring you into this level of understanding. And then you can live a life more abundantly as well. Okay, go to michaelnormanministries.com and sign up today. All right. Okay, so today I want to talk about manifesting money. I'm going to give you a little bit of insight of what you would get if you make that call or go to my website and sign up for my course on teaching you how to have life more abundantly. Number one, I want to make this statement. Hear me and hear me good. There is no shortage of money. No matter how large this deficit may loom, no matter how countries might be in the throes of economic downturns, please understand that there is no shortage of money. As a matter of fact, money is, I'm getting really deep on this one now. I mean, didn't mean to go this deep this soon, but let's go. Okay. Money is an illusion. It is an illusion. The reason I say that it is an illusion is, number one, if you remember or know anything about the U.S. monetary system, you understand that our dollar bill used to be backed by gold. So whenever you see a dollar printed, there is gold to guarantee the value of that dollar. Okay, just a little bit of American history here. So for every dollar that's printed, there's gold to back it up. Now, around 1976, Richard Nixon, if I got my date correct, Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard, which meant that we can continue to print dollars with no gold to back it up. This, you can literally Google this for yourself and discover that your dollar bill is, by all intents and purposes, is worth no more than the paper that it's printed on. Why? Because it has no gold to back it up as it used to. So now it's a note. If you read your dollar bill, your $100, whatever denomination you may have, right in the corner down at the bottom, the fine print, of course, you will see that this is a legal tender note. It is a note. It is not currency per se. It is a note, a promissory note, that whoever possesses it can use it to barter and to purchase goods and services. So that's what I mean when I say that your money is an illusion. It's the same thing with cryptocurrency, although it's very popular. But have you ever seen cryptocurrency? I know you can have a Bitcoin, but the point I'm making is the Bitcoin loses its value when people, I think the last time I saw it was somewhere around $90,000 for a Bitcoin, right? But if that's because there's enough people buying into the idea of a Bitcoin that gives the Bitcoin its value. Just like if enough people wants to own a Mercedes-Benz, then the value of the Mercedes-Benz begins to rise. Its value rises. It's supply and demand. So if there's enough demand, but only a scarce supply, it aggravates or aggregates the level of the value. That's why you can't get a Porsche for the same dollar amount that you can get a, per se, a small economic car, such as maybe a small VW. They're not going to be the same value. Okay. But when it's in plenty of supply, the value plummets, it goes down. Now, I'm saying this to further reinforce the idea that your monetary system of any sort is basically an illusion, which again underscores the fact that money, or underscores the fact that we must apprehend and comprehend on a spiritual level. You gotta begin to comprehend these things from a spiritual perspective, because then now you're going to be able to realize that not only that the things that are physical starts in the spiritual, but you're going to realize that even the things that are in the physical are simply a reflection of the immaterial or the spiritual. Everything in this life, again, we've all collectively heaped value on a Mercedes Benz or a Rolls Royce or a Maybach or Aston Martin or Lamborghini. We've all heaped value on those things, and as such, they cost more. But if everybody in the world just simply decides, I no longer like Mercedes Benz, it would literally collapse the Mercedes brand. It will absolutely disintegrate. And it wouldn't cost it. You can buy a S series for little of nothing if nobody wants it. So you see how the supply and demand works. That's just how it works. Okay, so again, I'm trying to perhaps bring you to a place where you understand that money is basically an illusion. It literally fluctuates. That's why economies fluctuates and up and down. That's why the value of a car, the value of a watch, the value of a house fluctuates up and down. Here in Florida, give you one more example. Here in Florida, I'm a real estate agent, right? So one of the things that I've noticed over the last 10 years is that there's so many people who've relocated from New York to Florida to escape those cold winters, right? Come down to sunny Florida. Now, no problem there. But where the challenge arises is that prior to that great migration from the north to the south, it was relatively inexpensive to live in Florida. Now, because so many people have migrated from the north to the south, to Florida primarily, it has caused the property value to aggravate or aggregate, to rise. It caused the price of a house to rise. It caused the price of renting an apartment to rise. Everything is more expensive, to the extent that the people who are native to Florida cannot even afford to live in Florida, because real estate value has absolutely skyrocketed. And as such, Floridians can barely afford to live in Florida, because New York is already overpriced and it was extremely expensive to live there. So when they sell their house in New York and they get the fair market value of the house in New York, that's going to more than cover the cost of a house in Florida. You see how that worked? But they came from a more expensive market to a lesser expensive. They were able to pay cash for the houses, which caused more and more people to come, which caused the value of the real estate here in Florida to begin to rise, to the extent it's very expensive to live in Florida pretty much right at this point. Same thing we lived in Dallas for a number of years. And as such, same thing happened there. We bought our first home there for like $230,000. It was a 4,000 square foot home. It sat on 3/4 acres, none of this zero lot line stuff. I mean, this was a very nice place. But so many people found out about life in Dallas and in DeSoto till it caused the property value as they were moving in, and people were moving in from California. And again, California is very expensive to live there. So they left and they migrated from California to Texas, and primarily to Dallas. And as such, the Dallas real estate just began to rise. So again, this is it's superficial to the extent it becomes an issue of supply and demand. Value is dependent upon the amount of demand for a particular product or service. That being said, if you want to be successful in this life and in business, you must, first of all, recognize there's no shortage of money. That's my first point. There's no shortage of money. I don't care what you're hearing about the economy or about the deficit. I mean, if you've got here in America, we've got something to the tune of an $8 trillion deficit. Who can think that high? $8 trillion. Okay. But it's $8 trillion. Well, apparently there's $8 trillion in the world right now. Otherwise, you could not accumulate that sort of debt if there was no money to cover it. All right. That being said, number two, you must create value. Find out what the need is and then create the answer to that need. Don't offer what you want, offer what they want. Now, this is what oftentimes causes people frustration and anxiety, because I love baking cakes, but if there's no one there that likes cake in your city or in your community, then you're not going to be able to move those cakes. Okay? So you've got to, number one, supply whatever the need may be that exists in the community or worldwide for that matter. But if there's no marketplace for it, if there's no market for it, it doesn't matter how wonderful your cakes may be if there's no one to consume them. If there's no place, no market that they love them. Okay? So oftentimes you have to really sacrifice what is your passion if you're going to go in business. Now, you can continue to do it as, this is my passion. I love making cakes, blah, blah, blah. I know there's not very many people who like my cakes or like cakes at all, but I'm going to continue to make them because it's my passion. Well, then now it's a hobby. Even though you're passionate about it, it's just a hobby because you have no one to purchase them. Does that make sense to anybody? Okay. All right. That being said, find out what the need is. Do a research. Talk to people. Find out what are their concerns. What's their point of pain? What's the level of pain that they're dealing with, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain, whatever that might be. Find out what that is. Hey, what's up, Davin Roy? That's my dude. He's awesome. But I digress. But again, find out what that market is. No matter how passionate you may be, make sure that you're in a place where people can petition you for your things that you're passionate about. But if there's no marketplace, you can't blame God. You can't blame the devil. You have to look at the man in the mirror and deal with those realities. Okay. And then find out. Now, once you do find out what the pain is, what's their point of pain, and then you start to meet that need concerning the pain, people will literally pay you for your service if you actually meet you are the answer to the pains that they have, that they're experiencing. So again, say for instance, you're having tooth pain. And I've come up with an invention that can alleviate pain in your mouth if you're having toothache. Well, everybody that is suffering with toothaches will run to your product and say, give it to me, like crack addicts. Give it to me. Let me have it. I can't deal with this tooth pain, this pain that I'm having in my tooth. And if you made that quality product that affects that pain and cures the pain or alleviates the pain, guess what? you are going to be a millionaire, a multi-millionaire, because you've come up with something that is of value, not to yourself, but to others. Okay? All right. Let me give you one more. Now, again, if you want more coaching on this, you can go to michaelnormanministries.com, sign up for I call it the blueprint, the wisdom blueprint. You can sign up, no contract necessary, cancel whenever you want to. But I guarantee you, you can sign up for one-on-one coaching, or you can sign up for a monthly subscription and get the downloads from my videos, make it available to you there. All right, go to michaelnormanministries.com and sign up today, or schedule your one-on-one with yours truly, and I'm going to help you walk through your circumstance and see if I can help you. I will help you. If I can't, I'll tell you I can't help you. All right, now, so number one, you got to develop a mentality that says there is no shortage of money. Number two, you must create value. Create something that is of value. What I'm doing right now is of value to many people because they want to go into business. They want to know how to make more money. They want to know, how can I begin to afford the kind of lifestyle that I desire to have, given the fact that I'm working at a minimum wage job. I'm only making $15, $20 an hour, but I have dreams of traveling the world and driving exotic cars. How can I do that? Well, there's a process to that. But again, we're not talking magic. There's process to every promise. All right. Number two, create something that is of value. Number one, create the mindset. Develop your own mind. That might take some time in and of itself. Develop a mindset that says there's plenty money around. I just got to tap into where it is. It's just like oil. There's plenty of oil. We just got to drill in the right place to experience the gusher. There's plenty of money in the world, so there's no shortage of money. Number two, create value. Create something of value, not that is of value to you, but value to the mass public. Number three, find the place where those that want it exist. So you can have the right product, and it can be a valuable thing in terms of what it took to create it. But if you don't know where those who suffer with those issues are, then you will, again, suffer loss. You won't have the level of productivity you're looking for. So you gotta find where they are and present. There's no sense, there's no sense in inventing a heater and you're trying to sell it to someone in the Nevada desert. Hey, I've got a great heater. It's cost effective. It doesn't cost much to run. It's one of the best heaters ever made. Well, hello, we're in the Nevada desert. It's 115 degrees out here. We don't need a heater. Okay? In the same instance, you go to Alaska and you're trying to sell ice cubes. We got ice everywhere. We don't need ice. Okay? So again, find out where those who need what you have exist and market. Spend your money there. Don't just go willy-nilly buying ad time, buying commercials, producing commercials and things of that nature. It costs to do that sort of thing. Okay? Find out where they are and then market to that location. Don't just, don't be a buckshot. Last point. Once you do discover those people that want what you produce, then it's a question of how well do you care for them? Are you making it easy for them, number one, to acquire what it is you produce? Do you have a system whereby they can go to your website, click on a funnel, click on a link, make it easy? Or is it difficult? If it's too difficult, even though they want it, they'll say, it's too much trouble. Because the truth of the matter is, we, particularly as Americans, Westerners, we want easy. Easy is always better. That's just how we do. That comes with being blessed. We like things being, we're a popcorn society. We don't like to work hard for anything. So if your website makes it too difficult for people to find you, then you're going to lose customers. You're going to lose clientele. Okay, so these are things that I believe that will help make money begin to manifest. Because again, please understand that first of all, if you don't believe that it's there for you, you'll never ever see it. Okay, so it always starts with the mentality first. I say this with me. My mindset affects my assets. Okay, say that with me. This is one of my favorite sayings. Again, my mindset affects my assets. So your mentality will always affect your reality. If you remember that, then you're going to have a more successful journey in this life. All right. All right. That's about all I've got for you on this edition of Maximum Life, doing life more abundantly. I really believe that it's God's desire for every one of you to live life and that more abundantly, but it takes work. So you have to take action. You can't sit home watching TV and believe that, oh, I just believe, I believe, and expect those things to just materialize. No, you've got to go out and begin to do whatever's necessary to make those things a reality in your life. Now, you may run into obstacles, and this is again what that separates the winners from the losers, because the winners don't care what kind of obstacles they have to deal with. They're going to plow right on through them. Losers tend to give up along the way because it just got a little too difficult for them, and they didn't want to handle all of the difficulties and the challenges that comes with it. And that's why many are called, but few are chosen. All right, I've got to run, but again, go to michaelnormanministries.com and make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want to build the audience. So would you please subscribe? Click the like button. Make sure you do that. And then one last step, make sure that you share this with as many of your friends that you possibly can, as we want to build this again and provide a service that will be of value to you. Okay? Until next time. Oh, by the way, I want to shout out the Algorithm of Wealth. If you are an entrepreneur, this is going to be the premier workshop for you. The Algorithm of Wealth is happening March 1st. There's still time for you to register by going to my wife's website at FrancinaNormanMinistries.org. That's FrancinaNormanMinistries.org. Myself, my wife Francina, John Eckhart, Toby Arimi, Sheila King, Blockchain Becky. This Blockchain Becky is going to show you how to access blockchains in the cryptocurrency spectrum. And then Caleb Barnes, and then, of course, one of our best friends, the Archbishop. This is going to be a premier webinar. You don't have to leave the comfort of your home. You can be right there in your home, taking good notes and being prepared to make bold moves for 2025 that's going to bring you into wealth. So we have decoded, we have discovered the algorithm of wealth, and we're going global with it. And we want you to benefit from it as well. So make sure that you do that. Sign up by going to FrancinaNormanMinistries.org and register for the Algorithm of Wealth. Most people don't appreciate the fact that even God says that you should buy the truth and sell it not. Who would think that God wants you? Most people get offended when just asking for offerings in the church, much less selling something. But the scripture seems to underscore and reinforce the idea that you should be willing to pay for something that is actually going to be of benefit for you. So go to FrancinaNormanMinistries.org and sign up for Algorithm of Wealth. I'll be back next week, but again, make sure that you click the subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you next time right here on Maximum Life more abundantly. We'll see you next time. Okay? Blessings.